guys, John here at Early Fitness, back for another quick video. Now today I'm going to tackle something that I've run into that more recently in my training that kind of threw a thorn in my entire training schedule, and it set me back quite a bit by about a week in my training plan for this quarter, I should say. So that is overtraining. Now overtraining can come in a few phases, and I'm going to try to give you guys some signs, some warning signs, and as well as how to prevent overtraining and how to know when you're overtraining, most importantly. And guys, exercise is great, but it can actually be harmful in a lot of ways if you don't take care of yourself nutritionally, or you don't get enough sleep, or you push yourself way too far in terms of what your body can actually handle in a given period of time. And that can be either physically, your muscles are fatigued and you don't give them enough time to rest between workouts, or hormonally, because we know that testosterone is produced in the body at a certain rate, and when you lift weights and when you work out, you put stress on your body, that increases the amount of cortisol hormone, but it decreases your testosterone significantly. And a lot of people will often complain about, basically they don't have the urge to have sex because they don't have enough testosterone to put themselves through that. So let's get started with what overtraining is in stages. So the first stage would be functional. Now this is very acute, and this is what I ran into personally at first, but I kept pushing through it. You might notice that you're more tired than usual, or that you can't sleep at night, that you wake up multiple times within one night, not to go to the bathroom, but you just wake up in the middle of a REM cycle. You might notice a decrease in performance marginally. You can't finish the same amount of reps and sets that you were able to do a week ago or 2 weeks ago, that your strength has dropped a little bit. Your endurance has dropped when running or when doing cardio. These are acute signs of overtraining. Now, in this stage, the adrenal glands get pushed very far in terms of the amount of adrenaline they can produce, the amount of hormones they can produce. So they basically exhaust themselves trying to keep up with the amount of activity you're putting your body through. Now, once you exhaust all of your hormones, you have nothing left. And this is where overtraining starts to really take a hit on your nervous system. So during the first part of this stage, you might feel okay, you might feel very fatigued during the day. You kind of just want to go to the gym and get it over with and get home, but you push yourself to go because you think it's healthy for you, that you have to keep pushing. But it's not a good thing to do, to keep pushing if your body's telling you and sending you signs to stop training. So during this stage, the very first stage of overtraining, you'll notice a drop in testosterone levels drastically, a drop in DHEA levels, but an increase in cortisol. And cortisol is a hormone that basically makes you depressed, to put it in layman's terms. So I'm going to put a list of what cortisol actually does in the video right here. These are all the things that cortisol controls. Now, cortisol is called the stress hormone, and there's a reason for that. When you work out, you put your body on a tremendous amount of stress. It's technically not super great for your body to keep pushing 225 pounds on the bench press. That's stress. That's what we define as stress. And all these things can lead to overtraining and elevation in cortisol levels. Now, in moderation, this is fine. In a normal training schedule, you should be decently fine if you give yourself rest days, you give yourself recuperation days, you take a break from training. But what happens is people push themselves way too far, push themselves way over the boundaries of overtraining, and then they're burnt out. Let me give you guys an example of how tangible this is. Imagine a steak. A steak can be raw. This is before you start lifting. It could be medium rare, the perfect steak cook. And you can be well done, and that's overcooked, and you don't want to eat it. You can't eat it. It's tough. It's burnt. You can't eat it. Now, basically, when you overtrain, you're all the way over here. Maybe when you're in phase 1, you're on the edge of medium well to well, but you're not over in the burnt section. But over in the burnt section, you are overtrained. Your body is completely burnt out. The second phase of overtraining, which gets even worse, which is kind of where I was sitting on the border of functional sympathetic overtraining. Sympathetic overtraining is when your nervous system is completely burnt out. It's 100% it can't keep up with the amount of work that you're making it do. Now this can lead to stuff such as higher resting heart rate. And you can test this pretty easily. This is a great way of knowing if you're overtraining. just take your heart rate, and if it's way jacked up, if it's way higher than normal, you are definitely overtraining your body. Another way is to do a grip strength test. Here's what I suggest. When you first start working out, take a barbell. I saw this online from a couple of guys. Take a barbell, load it with a few plates of weight to where you can lift it up, and hold it there. Hold it in front of you for as long as you can. And then when you drop it, that's your hard line. Now, when you go back, do this test every few weeks, every few months. If your grip strength dramatically decreases by about half, you are definitely overtraining. Now, overtraining in this way, in stage 2, if you keep pushing and hammering yourself, you're gonna decrease your testosterone levels even more. So you're completely impotent at this point. You can't get up. Number 1. Number 2, you can't do as much weight, you can't do as much reps and sets, so you're probably losing muscle mass at this point because you just keep pushing yourself. No matter what it is, you're pushing yourself way too much, and it's probably a half-assed workout at that point. You probably get there, you're probably exhausted, you probably do half the amount of work that you would be doing, you can't get pumped up for the gym, and you can't do it. So, higher cortisol levels, we already talked about how overtraining can lead to higher cortisol levels. Higher cortisol can lead to higher insulin levels. Now this can be very, very problematic. But thankfully, all of these hormonal changes and hormonal imbalances can be helped by stopping training and diet and just remapping your entire life. Don't spend hours and hours and hours in the gym when you are overtraining. And if you get to this next stage, God help you, do not do this. Just don't. When you are at stage 3, parasympathetic overtraining, you're not heeding any of these warnings. You think, oh God, there's no such thing as overtraining. It's just gains. Everything is just gains. It has to be good for me. No. Once you get to this point, you can get depressed. You can go through a bout of depression because your testosterone and all of your hormones are completely burnt out. You can go through severe adrenal failure, and all of these different things. I'll put a link to this article a couple of medical journals that I've read about this, down in the description below. I want you guys to take a look at them, because I can't cram all of this information into one video. This is just from my experience. For me, when I got into cutting season, I wanted to lose weight, lose body fat, lose everything. I wanted to keep my muscle mass, so I pumped myself 6 days a week. And I ended up overtraining. I ended up getting into almost stage 2 overtraining. I went to the doctor, I was exhausted all the time, I kept waking up in the middle of the night, my sex drive went down, everything kind of collapsed. And that was because I was severely overtraining myself. I was pushing myself way beyond what I could physically do at that time, and it ended up being worse for me. I ended up actually losing some muscle mass, I ended up losing functional strength. So, all in all guys, overtraining is a real thing. There's lots of medical journals done on it. There's lots of scientific studies on it. It is an actual thing. Just because you're going to the gym every single day doesn't mean you're getting gains. It could mean it's that time spent at the gym. There's that one quote, I forget what it was, but it was like, 1 rep done properly with proper form and proper focus on the correct muscle groups is better than 95% of your hour-long workouts. And that's very true. If you focus really hard for 40 minutes, an hour, that could be way more time than you actually need 7 days of the week at the gym pushing yourself for no reason because you're just screwing yourself into overtraining. So anyway guys, I just wanted to do this quick little video and inform you guys about overtraining. It is a thing. I don't want you guys to push yourselves too hard, and there are a lot of scientific studies done about overtraining and what this does to your hormone levels and to your insulin levels and your cortisol levels. We all know that hormones play a huge role in your life outside of the gym, such as love, such as your attitude towards life, such as everything. Everything has to do with hormones. So if your hormones are all screwed up, you're going to be all screwed up, and you don't want that. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I will see you guys in the next one.